Welcome to your Hive business. I'm Laura DeFranco.
And I'm Donnie Bovine.
And we are here to help you create your badass high business.
What does it mean to have a high business? It's that business you're excited about. It lights you up and it helps you unleash that inner badass and really go for it.
You are a lover and a warrior, and you're here to change the world with your business. We will give you the strategy and resources you need to take this all to the next level.
You shouldn't do this alone. Start hanging out with other badass entrepreneurs and watch how fast your business grows.
You guys, Donnie Bovine runs a successful coaching and speaking business, and he's spent over 2 decades mastering sales.
And Laura DeFranco is an expert healer, 2 times business owner, 6-time published author, and spoken word poet.
Together, we're here to help you create your high vibe business. Hey, you guys, today's episode, we're going to get a little bit more tactical about the networking thing. You guys, if you listen to the last one in this little mini series about networking, we reframed the whole topic for you. If you haven't heard that one, you need to go back and listen. But today we kind of wanted to give you a little bit more of the strategy, because once you have that knowledge, this whole deal becomes way easier.
All right, crazy. This is going to be a lot of fun. I love networking. Grew up on it, built some very, very successful sales books from networking. And you know, one thing I know is people want the tactical strategy behind networking, because there's a lot of people that say they're networkers, but I don't think they really are. I think a lot of people who tell you they're networkers are people that are just going and getting a lot of coffees and stuff, but it's not really growing their business.
Wait, is that a thing? Networker?
Oh yeah. It's a
do
verb.
People call themselves that?
Oh yeah.
I don't want that I don't want that label. I don't want
Me
it.
either, because I don't want to be known as the networker, because that just sounds like broke.
God,
Just
totally.
going to a whole bunch of events. So start us off, Laura. When you think about networking, how do you make it tactical? What are the actual actions you need to be implementing in your business to make it successful?
Well, I mean, we could talk about a lot of situations, but like if we're talking about an in-person, in the room, in person with people, the biggest thing that you helped me with is that, first of all, I'm walking in the room and it's not about sales, it's making relationships. We talked about that on the last episode, but in terms of like what the action is I need to be doing, for me, no matter who I'm in front of, it's about asking them questions and getting to know them. And we talked about that a little bit on the last episode too, but the even bigger strategy that I think is really changing the game for me already is, if I'm in a room, just walk away with 2 connections. And that means I need to get my, big girl panties on, and I need to walk over to people and I need to introduce myself and just ask them questions and get to know them a little bit, to the point of, hey, maybe we could go grab a coffee. If I just get 2 of those, and that helped me realize this is not that hard.
Yeah, and that's the whole premise of this whole thing. When I think about networking, I think about it as a key business development tool, right? It's one of the greatest arsenals I had in my toolkit to grow my sales businesses. And I know a couple of things. There's an art to it, and then there's what most people do. And so a couple of things that I really look at from a tactical standpoint is, how much revenue am I generating from the different networking activities I'm attending? So if I'm attending a weekly luncheon, right? Am I actually generating revenue out of that group? Am I going to these after hours? Are those after hours leading to any sort of revenue in my business? And the reason I do this is because, I'll put a time frame on it. Like I'll try a weekly group, for 3 to 6 months, but if I'm not turning any revenue out of it, I'm going to stop wasting my time.
Okay, you're blasting me into the sales mindset again, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that what you're meaning is that, are those connections and that's
Opening
my
doors.
mindset going in, right? Are people sort of getting back to making connections for me?
Yeah, and
Okay.
100%. So once again, to reiterate what we talked about the last episode, which I should have done before going into that, but is you're not selling the people that are in those rooms. What you're doing is getting to know them so well that they're willing to open the door to their Rolodex, their people, Um,
That's the sentence. Get
yep,
to know them so well. Um, get to know them so well that they can talk about you in a way that excites other people to come work with you.
absolutely. Absolutely, right.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you will grow these champions. I know a couple of things. Most people who do nothing but networking to grow their businesses are not great salespeople because they don't know how to go out and do the traditional sales methodologies. So they're relying on networking to grow their business.
Mm.
So if they're 100% dependent on networking to grow their businesses, um, then you're going to have trouble with them opening doors for you. And follow me with this. If they don't know how to go get new clients for their business, then the only people they can refer me is the people they network with.
Mm.
And the people they network with, odds are I already know them if I'm out networking.
Well, so you need both skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. So I will give a group 3 to 6 months to see if I can build enough relationships where people open doors. And if they don't, within 6 months, I know one of two things. Either I didn't build enough trust in the room for people to want to open the doors for me, or these people have nobody to introduce me to.
Mm.
Either way, I need to get out of that situation.
I like the idea that you're putting the time frame on it because that helps. Then we're just not out there forever willy-nilly, keep trying and trying and nothing's working. So as soon as you have a time frame, and so it's a little different for everybody. Like I'm thinking about your 3 months and to 6 month range, and I'm thinking, damn, a half a year is a long time to spend, you know?
It really is.
Yeah.
But if you're going to commit to a weekly group, right? Let's talk about a weekly group and then we'll talk about an after hours. If you're going to commit to a weekly group, then you better go all in. And what I mean by all in is if you're not meeting every member in that group in the first couple of weeks of joining that group to go have a cup of coffee, grab a Zoom call, and really dive into the business, then you're not going to be working it fast enough to see results. You
Got it.
know, the one question when I sit down with somebody over a cup of coffee is all right, who specifically do you need to meet? And when they start giving me generic answers like, oh, I can work with anybody, like, no, 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 you don't hear me. Who specifically do you need to meet? Like,
Yeah.
give me a name of a CEO you're trying to get to,
Ah, that's specific.
right?
Yes.
Give
Hmm.
me a name of a person that if you could get working with your business would be a game changer in your business. Cool. Now, if I have that person, so let's back it up just 1 second because I want to make sure keep everybody stays with me. Let's say you're out networking and this one person is like your ideal client. Like if you got this person, they would mean everything for your business. They would validate you out because they're just well known, that kind of thing. If you go into that first conversation with them to understand specifically who they need to meet and who they're looking for, you're going to be amazed that if you can go make that happen, how much more trust they're going to have with you and what you're doing. So I love asking people, who specifically you need to meet. And let's say they need to meet, Sally, who's an attorney downtown that runs a big firm, and that's that high profile person they want. And if I need them as a client, I would love to have them as a client. I'm going to go through my Rolodex, I'm going to go through my contacts, find out who can get me to Sally. I'm going to go get Sally out for a cup of coffee, have a conversation, get to know her. And during that process, say, hey, you really need to sit down with the first person you sat down with. And I'm going to make that introduction
And
because,
meanwhile, do you guys see how you're talking about this person was your super duper ideal client and
yes,
you weren't selling them. Like that's got to be hard not to want to. But this is how you get around to building the know, like, and trust enough that that person might just go, hey, you know what? I need to go talk to Donnie again because maybe he can help me with my next, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I learned
Yeah.
this doing stuff in the nonprofit space. And
Mm.
when you sit on a nonprofit board, fundraising is the number one thing you got to do. And they had this kind of list of CEOs in town that if they got these CEOs to donate, I mean, it would just be huge sums of money and big brands, helping out this nonprofit. I'm like, well, who has relationships with these people? And everybody on the board's like, well, none of us really know them. So I took the list and I started going through my Rolodex. I'm like, okay, who knows these CEOs? And we found I had through a couple connections could get to these CEOs. So what I did is through my connections, I got them to introduce me. I came in, 100% non-sales guy, run my own business, everything else. That was a get to know you mentoring situation with the CEOs. So I came and played the card. Hey, can I buy you lunch? You teach me a few things about how you've gotten so far in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they wanted that mentor lunch. They took me out to a mentor lunch, had a great conversation. By the time we got to the end of it, I said, hey, I have a couple of people that I think would be a great conversation for you. But I also know that you sit on your own nonprofit board. And doing my research, I also know that you have a luncheon coming up. I have a couple of clients that would love to come to that luncheon. Could I make an introduction for a couple people to come to your luncheon? And they're like, absolutely. After that happens, then I'll reach out later and say, I sit on a nonprofit board, and the executive director of this board would like a minute of your time. Would you take it? Well, since I did the favor first, they almost always took that call. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
It does. And I would assume you're also going to say that that invitation to do the mentor lunch, people are typically pretty honored to do that.
Yes, they
You
are.
don't get a whole lot of no's unless they just absolutely can't fit you in the schedule. But yeah.
And make sure you're the person picking up the lunch,
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
asking for their time, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it's simple things like that if you go into it from the space of, well, who does that person need? How can I make that connection happen? You're going to be blown away by how much it impacts your business.
Yeah.
And
So I want to pull it into, I'm thinking about my massage therapist
Mhm.
goddesses. I'm thinking about my physical therapy people. Like, this is when we hear you talk about CEOs and
Yep.
nonprofits and
Yep.
boards, and I'm like, shit, okay, but that's not us either, but it is, but it isn't. So like, it's,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so let's take the massage therapist.
Yeah.
Who would be the biggest referral source for a massage therapist? Like if they landed this type of person, that person's client base would be a great fit for them.
Well, yeah, sometimes it is a doctor or another
Cool.
healthcare practitioner
Yeah.
that
So let's
sees
say it's
people.
it's a chiropractor, right? I think a
Yeah,
chiropractor and a massage therapist work well together.
perfect. Yeah.
If you know the biggest name chiropractor in your town, and you would like, God, if I can just get 5 minutes with this person,
Mm-hmm.
they would open up the entire world for me. Here's what I would do tactically. I'm going to go through LinkedIn, look at their profile, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And when I get down to the bottom, you're going to see the nonprofits they support and are a part of. Okay. And this is just a fun trick. Most people who own businesses that have found some success, been around for a while, they're a part of something. They either
Mm.
support a nonprofit, they sit on a board, this, that, and the other. Once I have that nonprofit, and I like getting that nonprofit thing for them because
Yeah,
it's usually a passionate thing for them, right? Something they're very, very passionate about.
definitely.
So let's say they sit on a cancer board. Okay. Now I know they're on a cancer board. I'm going to take 2 seconds and I'm going to jump over to that cancer nonprofit's website and figure out when the next event's coming up, right? The next luncheon, next after hours, this, that, and the other. Then I'm going to, reach out. I'm going to call the nonprofit up and say, hey, what's going on with the luncheon? What do you guys need? And it's always, they need more bodies. They need to sell more tickets to get more donations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Who are you trying to get there? And then I'll make a list of, their kind of key targets, right? Then I'll go back to Mr. Chiropractor and I'm going to reach out and say, hey, I was skimming your profile on LinkedIn. I saw that you work with this particular nonprofit. And as I was looking at their website, I saw a lunch coming up. I have a couple of people I think would like to attend the lunch. Would you be okay if I introduce you to those people so you can walk them through how they buy their tickets and stuff? And it's an interesting, no threat way to get in and get this conversation.
Yes. And for people who aren't playing big enough, I don't know, this is like, so I want to go back to what you said, that most people who have a level of success, like, are involved in these
Mm-hmm.
things. And it takes a bit of research, but it's usually there because they're usually proud of being a part of whatever that is. But you still got to go look for it and find it and do the legwork, right? This, what you're talking about takes a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it in the
Yeah,
end.
and to even make it a little bit more micro scale, if that chiropractor is that the person the masseuse wants to get to, now it's okay. Who can I go in through my Rolodex? Who's looking for a new chiropractor? who's looking for that type of skill, gift, or anything else. Now it's a matter of, going to the website, getting the chiropractor's email, and start making introductions. Hey, Sally, meet June. June's a chiropractor here locally. I know you said you were looking for a new chiropractor. I think you should check out so-and-so, right? And you start sending over these people from referrals, not even having the conversation. At some point, that person's going to go, holy crap, they're literally growing my business. I should reach out and say hello to them. Excuse me. And what's fun about that is by the time you reach out and have a conversation, if you've already sent them 2 or 3 people, they're going to take that conversation. They're going to take that call because
definitely.
You've made the first move of helping them grow their business.
Yes. And that's like, you're just spelling out the strategy here. We were talking a little bit about it on the last episode, but this is the actual piece of the strategy. And I wonder how many of you healthcare practitioners or healer, even author or artists, entrepreneurs have gone this route in your strategy. I feel like you're educating us in a bit of an up-leveled piece of this strategy.
Well, and it goes back to, I think most people think about how do they sell who they're sitting across from versus playing a bigger game of how do they get to that person that could bring their client base to them, right? That are already working with that perfect avatar that you wish you could get a hold of. And, this is, and once again, guys, this isn't sales. This is strictly a business development piece to where you're actually helping other people out to allow them to step into what they're trying to do and how they get it done.
It's power. This whole deal is powerful. I hope you guys, if you're listening to this, don't be too scared about the tactics. Like, take it on as a challenge and have fun with it. And you might need some more help, a little bit more coaching about it. I love, Donnie, what you talk about in terms of like arriving at a networking event with a buddy. That's, I think, another piece of your strategy is like, you don't have to do this alone. You guys can do this together.
Yeah, take a wingman. It's absolutely huge.
Absolutely a wingman, huge. Yes.
Especially if you're introverted, it'll help you out tremendously.
Totally.
So we may dive into another episode, get a little bit more tactical on this one, but I hope you got some quick hit, value out of thinking a little bit bigger about how you network and how you go about it. So guys, if you got any value out of this whatsoever, do me a favor and share this with a friend. Let them know that this is something they should be listening to as well.
I got my guests arriving for my networking event today. What a great way to wrap this little talk up. I host the On Purpose Women in my home every month, and they are walking in the door as we speak, hence the little shush sign to my gal who just walked in the door. I love that. I love this. And actually, I think we probably have at least another episode on the tactics.
Agreed.
But you guys, you're ready to take this all to the next level, or you're listening to something we're talking about and you want a little bit more on it, right? You get it, but you need a little bit more. So come and visit us at yourhivevibebiz.com. We've got a great free mindset download for you there. And plus you can connect with us in a lot of different ways. So I'm excited to connect with you.
Come hang out and keep going big, guys, and have a lot of fun.